Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Firefighters podcast, where we seek to develop, inspire, and motivate the world of the emergency services operator through a series of wide-ranging conversations. Now, before we go any further, just hit that rate, follow, or subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to. It's a key performance indicator for us and helps us reach even more people. Now, here's what we've got for you today. Right, welcome to the Firefighting Foundation mini-series. This is something we get asked about a lot. We get asked for a lot of stuff, a lot. People of the debriefs, some people of the conversations, but also we have a lot of recruits listening to the podcast, and they ask a lot if we can unpick some of the vernacular, some of the fundamentals, some of the basics, because obviously some of our guests go into a lot of detail. So this is a mini-series. We're going to attempt it. It's focused run of episodes. I'm hoping it's going to build a layer down, up, of the essential building blocks of our craft of firefighting. Now, I've got to say it up front, this is not a complete manual. It doesn't pretend to be. This series won't capture everything you'll ever need as a firefighter. If you're an experienced firefighter listening to this, honestly, I still think you'll take a lot of benefit from it. But what I think it will do is give you a powerful, practical foundation if you're a brand new recruit. And also, if you just need to spot up on a few things, it's a set of core principles, insights, absolutely will make a difference with you on the fireground, at the station, on the firehouse, on the incident ground, and throughout your career. So whether you're just stepping onto the drill ground for the first time, whether you're getting ready to go into your recruits course, or whether you're an experienced firefighter and you've heard a load of podcasts and you're like, I don't even understand what half this is about, then you might still want to keep chasing that mastery. I always say we're all students at different levels of experience. So this series is designed to speak to all of you. It's the thing I wish existed when I joined, and it's packed with tools, truths, takeaways that you can start using straight away. It's not all my information. It's been pulled from masses of documents that we get sent, as well as some scientific rigor from some good friends of mine and myself, from my own experiences with instructing, and kind of crowdsourced a lot of that information. So it's taken a while to put it together, but hopefully it will be useful. We were going to talk about the science behind our tactics, the why behind our decisions, and the mindset that underpins high-performing teams. This is about sharpening your edge, deepening your understanding, and hopefully, even if you're a long way through your career, reinforcing what matters most, because the best firefighters never stop learning. You should want to learn this. You should be interested in it. Maybe you already know it, but the best teams never stop improving, so some of that might be in there as well. So whether you're in your journey, whether you're just starting it, welcome. Let's dig into the foundations that hold up this incredible job we all get to do. So, the beginning of our journey that will take you from recruitment all the way to confident firefighter, hopefully. This is where we're starting, the foundations of science for firefighters. This is kind of the bedrock. We've got to give you the tools to take you step by step. So some of this might seem a bit scientific to start with, but if we jump ahead to other stuff, it might not make sense. So this is where we're going to learn to think like scientists, measure like professionals, and understand matter and energy and the way fire works. I know for anyone listening, you might be thinking, what about everything else we do as firefighters? We're going to get into that at some point, but we're going to focus on the core element of the role, which is firefighting. So firstly, why scientific thinking, I think, matters for firefighters. So when we think of science, it might feel a little bit distant from what we actually do, from the heat, the sweat, the urgency of the fireground. But here's the honest truth. Fire doesn't care how brave you are. It behaves according to physics. One of my favorite quotes from Carol Lambert was, firefighting is just physics and chemistry. And that's true. And if we understand how fire behaves, you'll work smarter, safer, and hopefully save more lives. So scientific thinking starts firstly with observation. That's the firefighter's first and most critical tool. Whether you're reading smoke, gauging heat through your gear, using a thermal imaging camera, you're constantly gathering data from your surroundings. Then comes the hypothesis. You predict what's happening, the environment around you, behind the door, what stage the fire is in, and how it might evolve if you ventilate or if you apply water. And then finally, you test. So this is through your tactical actions. If your hypothesis is wrong, fire is going to let you know very quickly and often violently. That's the scientific method at work. Okay, think about it that way. Observation, hypothesis, test. It's not just in the lab, but inside every structure you go into. Secondly, something you really need to understand is units of measurement. So speaking to the universal language of science. This is on all of the gauges and things you're going to look at and how you read the environment as well. In firefighting, precise measurements can often mean the difference between success and strategy. So let's talk a little bit about that SI system. That's the International System of Units, okay? These are units used in science and globally across the fire services as well. Understanding them helps you read reports, read gauges, training documents, all over the place. Yeah. Learning from international incidents and studies. If you don't know what these things mean, they're not going to help you. So a few essentials. Temperature. These are measured in degrees Celsius here in the UK. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius at ground level, well, at surface level or at sea level. Flashover often happens at around 600 degrees Celsius. There's just a real world example for you. Distance, measured in meters or centimeters. That's vital when considering hose stretches and compartment sizes. You have to be able to have a good eye line on that. And then you have mass and volume, so kilograms and liters. Liters of water on the truck, kilograms of weight, appropriate amount for lifting, the fuel load, the water application, the flow rates. These is how we will measure these things. And then one bit that actually I don't think is understood by a lot of people is energy and power. So here we're using units like joules, watts, kilowatts, megawatts. These help us understand things like heat release rate. A single modern sofa can release enough energy, around 2 megawatts, to flash a room, for example. But if you don't start to get used to that terminology, you might see it in documents for the next 30 years of your career, and still it doesn't really mean anything to you. So just outside for a second, we do have people listening from all over the world. So if you're listening from the US, you might use Fahrenheit gallons. But internationally, including Australia, where we've got a lot of listeners, the UK, and much of Europe, we use SI units. So it's worth becoming fluent in both systems because fire doesn't care which country you're in. But I'm going to keep a lot of this content relevant to the UK Fire Service. Right, let's go a little bit deeper and we will go for energy matter and the states of matter. Now, at every fire, energy is being released, matter is being transformed, and you're right in the middle of all of those things. So firstly, let's break down matter. Matter exists in 3 primary states: solid, liquid, and gas. You should remember that from school. Fire transforms solids into gases through a form of pyrolysis, okay? And those gases are what actually burn. So energy in the form of heat drives this process. It increases molecular motion inside the thing until the substance changes its state. For example, water, easy one. It turns into steam, right? Or a type of foam, polyurethylene foam, breaks down into flammable gases. Okay? That's why smoke isn't just nasty stuff. It's a fuel-rich mix of particles and gases. And under the right conditions, it can ignite explosively. Smoke burns. That's not a theory. That's a deadly reality, okay? So here's where latent heat or vaporization comes in. The energy needed to change water from liquid to vapor. So when you apply a fog pattern into hot smoke, you're using this principle to cool the gas. That is gas cooling, which is a core tactic we've had a few conversations around, developed a long time ago. It's used globally, whether it's the best or not, but that is latent heat vaporization. It's not just water on the fire, it's water absorbing energy, changing state, and interrupting the fire's chemistry. Why does this matter on the fireground? So as we close, I'm going to try and wrap all this up together. So when you're crawling into a room and your thermal imaging camera shows temperatures above 500 degrees, you're in danger. Why? Because that's within the auto ignition range for gases like carbon monoxide and hydrogen cyanide. So when you hear flashover, that's the result of enough energy applied to enough pyrolyzed material suspended in enough air. Crossing a chemical threshold in seconds, the room goes from survivable to lethal. So as a firefighter, you're working inside an uncontrolled physics experiment. But with a bit of knowledge, you take back control. You read the smoke, that's observation. You predict the behaviour, that's hypothesis. Then you do something. You enact a firefighting, structural firefighting approach. That's testing. You adjust your tactic, that's analysis and adaptation. That's the scientific thinking, and that's the core of what I wanted us to start with in terms of modern firefighting. So that is it for episode 1. Might have seemed very scientific heavy. Not all of these are going to be like that, but we just wanted to give some of the interpretations in the units so that future conversations, future episodes of this Firefighter Foundation series, you've got this to go back to. Might also be useful. Share it with someone, share it with your recruits, share it with somebody, nobody, listen to it again. I know I speak a little bit quickly sometimes, you might have to listen twice. So today we've taken our first step. We're building that mindset of the firefighter scientist, thinking about it chemically, thinking about what we're actually doing. We explored scientific method as fireground tool, how units of measurement link us to the global best practices, and the physics of energy and matter in fire behavior. In the next episode, we're going to go a little bit deeper into heat, temperature, and I think thermal energy transfer I started writing about earlier, and how understanding conduction, convection, and radiation could save your life or somebody else's. Right, hope you enjoyed this first one. Give us your feedback. It's short, it's sharp. Hope it's useful. Stay curious, stay humble, and I'll see you on the next one. Well, that's it for today, folks. Hope you took a lot away from that episode. We started the Firefighters podcast to develop, inspire, connect, motivate, represent, and most importantly, celebrate the world of incredible emergency services operators and the wider sector through this series of wide-ranging conversations. We really love creating this podcast and bringing it to so many people. Did you know you can also find these on YouTube? We do a lot of video podcasts now. You can head over to our YouTube page and follow, subscribe there. And as a final ask from us, whatever platform you're on, please rate the podcast. It really helps us as a key performance indicator to reach more and more people. I've been your host, Pete Wakefield. This has been the Firefighters podcast. And wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be happy, live with intention, and where possible, please remember and support your firefighters and first responders. I'll see you next time.